Hello, welcome back to Actions Speak Louder Than Words. This is the sublet of the Hunger for Knowledge podcast. Today I'm going to talk about China and Russia and what I think is happening and what I think will happen in the future. What I equate America to that bully you had in elementary school, right? Bigger, pushing you around, stealing your money. But what happens to the bully eventually? Most of the time most of the time, the bully never grows up. The bully ends up growing and using those same tactics they used in elementary school, in high school, because that's all they know. And that's what I think America's doing. If you look at America, they're the bully, continuing to bomb and use military force to get what they want, never taking a step back and saying, maybe this isn't the way. The US is greedy, driven by greed, driven by profit, driven by power, driven by corruption. And China and Russia are those kids they used to bully in elementary school. And what happened was, especially China, but they grew, they matured, they understood the world. They understood how to fight the bully without physical confrontation. Yes, Russia is in Ukraine fighting a physical confrontation. I understand that. But China is not. And what they've done, and I mean, more China than Russia, but what you've seen this week is Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping uh, had a big meeting in Russia, went very smoothly, according to everybody. And now, you could never would have saw that in the past. Now they're, working together. And what they want to do is they want to be the ones that mold the future when this thing falls apart. Which, if you look at my banking video I just did, the West is not doing well. A lot of the banking institutions in the West are not doing well. China and Russia are going to pounce when they see the opportunity to. Just take an example for what China's done. China's done this thing called the New Silk Road. It's also known as the Belt and Road Initiative. Basically, it's a plan that links countries in Europe, Asia, and Africa, focused on investing railways, highways, and ports. They're building a lot of new ports. All this is new ports, and that's their blueprint to reposition themselves as the future dominating force I believe, in the new world economy. They're already the manufacturers and producers that they're the leaders. So now all these ports and railways and highways, now they're going to be able to get efficiently and very cost effectively, they're going to get all these products to those places, and we're going to be too busy blowing up stuff, blowing up the Middle East. You don't think that, think about all this. Like I said, bully all these countries in the Middle East. You don't think they're tired of being bombs dropped on them? 2010 to 2021, I think it was 1.4 bombs dropped an hour in the Middle East. You don't think they're tired of that? So they're going to pivot. They're going to look for help. They're going to look to see who's doing what. I mean, China has now negotiated peace deal with the Iran and Saudi Arabia and in Syria with Syria. Because what is happening is they're recognizing that to do the things that China wants to do, which is to pretty much take over the world's economy, they need the resources, they need the oil, they need the steel, they need the lithium, they need all these things, which are becoming more and more scarce because climate reasons and investment reasons. Many of these places, if you look in Europe, a lot of the places that a lot of the aluminum mills are shutting down, steel mills shutting down, can't afford the costs. So all this stuff is becoming scarce. Who owns most oil in the biggest oil producers? Russia, Saudi Arabia. So they're creating peace deals with these countries. They're smart. They think ahead. We're too busy bombing places, projecting new Silk Road to cost about $4 to $8 trillion. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But guess what? The U.S. has spent on the defense budget over the last, was it? Let's see here, from 2000 to 2021, they spent 13 trillion 460 billion 559 million dollars on the defense budget. So I'm going to say $48 trillion to improve your economy and improve all these other nations' economies and for them to get products from you. An investment in other people as opposed to a military uh, force just dropping bombs and trying to, you know, give you some freedom, some democracy. I would say that's a little better. That's a little better plan. I wonder who's thinking, who's the bully? The bully is still trying to take your lunch money by force. But here's the kids that have been bullied are now grown up, and they're looking at it this a different way. And that's the real problem. That's the problem the West has. The West has is dying. Their model for forceful democracy is dying. Who can argue with a place that's invest? Who can argue with a country that's their plan is to invest in you? And Russia and China, they print their own money. So guess what? In the end, it's pretty ingenious. China looks at the situation going forward. They say we can just print as much as we want, use this fake money, this paper money, fiat currency. If it dies, who cares? We've now built all these railways and highways. It's ingenious. As not only that, they're printing money. They're using the printed money to buy gold. They own 15 tons of gold. I mean, they're setting themselves up for success on the other side of this debacle of a world economy. Russia's going to be right there with them. They have 12,000 tons of gold, supposedly. These are all numbers that are reported. How much China really has and Russia really has, nobody really knows. I know America doesn't have much. They say they have a lot, but so we printed money to drop bombs and kill people. China, and listen, when I talk, I'm not a China fan at all because the laws they institute, the non-existence of freedom there is absurd. We can do you can watch multiple videos of what happens, social credit score, all that kind of stuff. It is scary, but the reality of it is they're thinking far many years in it. They think 50 years in advance to us. We're worried about tomorrow. We're about containing banks and dropping bombs on people. They're out there using this fake funny money to build roads and ports and railways to work with Russia. I mean, Russia is now also working with Saudi Arabia. Basically, 2000, like 18th of 2022, Saudi Arabia made a deal with Russia. Russia and Saudi Arabia agreed to a military cooperation agreement August 24th of 2021. 2021. So think about that. We used to do that. We still sell them millions. I mean, they won't even take Joe Biden's phone call. And we just sold them hundreds of millions of dollars of weapons. And they're just like, we don't care. Screw you. Scarcity of oil, of all the things you need to build economies, build manufacturings. They're too busy bullying everybody, and we're about to get punched in the face. People you're bullying, they're about to just come together. And we're going to be that one guy in the middle, all laying on the ground, trying to cover our face from getting beat, kicked, punched, whatever. That's going to be us. That's going to be America. Laying on the ground, hoping it just trying to count the seconds to the beating ends. Because you think wars get fought, there's not going to be no superpower wars. China and Russia aren't stupid enough to start a nuclear war. I mean, one place pushes that button, every button's going to get pushed. We're all going to be in trouble. So they're going to fight a war economically, and we are in no position to win that war. We are going to lose that war in a landslide. I mean, they got 147 countries involved in the new Silk Road. 147. I don't see anything on the horizon for America that feels like we shed that bully mentality and decided to become a better human being. We're still that bully. Like this video, I enjoyed doing this one because I started doing some research and realized that just the defense bill, what we spent on defense bill, $13 trillion in 11 years or in 21 years. Still haven't fixed Flint, Michigan. Still haven't won't haven't fixed Jackson, Mississippi. Baltimore looks like a war zone itself. They don't have heat in the schools. We don't have roads we can drive on. Our train stations and you go to. I've seen a lot of people talk about the airports in China. You go to China, the airports look like they're in they're this world. But hey, thank God we got enough bombs to drop on people, drop on farmers in the middle of Pakistan. That's what we need. They need some freedom. So, like I said, tune into the podcast. Check out some of these other videos. Some of these videos are interwound with the subject matter. But I mean, this is getting absurd. This is getting absurd. So see ya.